catch up to what might be called the usual standards of the zone, needs to take part in discussions and add to these discussions and free itself of some of the hyper-patriotism of the early 90s and the cliches of the past, and there are many cliches in that writing, and with that new creativity may come. And there are quite a number of young historians who work in this field. We are going to be having Serhiy Lepyavko from Chernihiv is giving a talk here on Monday on Muslim-Christian borderlands, and looking at Ukraine as a Muslim-Christian borderland. These are the kind of new topics for the field that also then can be generally enriching for both Polish historical studies, studies of the Commonwealth, and general European history. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a very easy job because we have keeping time, and we have these two insights, one on the past with many insights from contemporary perspective, and the issue of the other issue, which is the state of the art in the historical studies in Poland and Ukraine. So now I think it's going to be a very lively discussion. So the floor is open. Please speak loudly and please introduce yourself because we don't know all. So the floor is open. Yes, please.
Yes, actually, you said something about Henel. Is that Elżbieta Henel?
No, Teresa Rimczewska.
Is she the author of the Świadomość Narodowa Szlachty Ukraińskiej?
Yes.
So why was she criticized?
Why was she criticized?
Because you did not,
did develop this. Okay.
Did develop that because it's a certainly very interesting book.
Yeah. She was criticized largely on arguments that there were problems in her textual use of sources, mistakes in some citations. There was a huge review by two young scholars, Gawlas and Grala, in Przeglądy. And all of them have very clever names, Nemarusi, Rusi, and other such things. Then she answers, then they answer. This went on in Przegląd for a while. Now, what was of significance in this was that they never engaged her actual topic, but instead derided the possibility of there being such a świadomość. This was not their major attack on her, but it was in this. And that this was allowed to go on in a way that, let's say, the tone was not that you would usually expect in a historical journal. And I spoke with Professor Monchak about this at that point and said, well, and Professor Poppe, both very distinguished scholars in the field, and said, well, didn't anyone say to them, take this back and rewrite it in some sort of normal tone? And I said, and is the reason subconsciously because of the topic you let this go, or didn't think, or what? They, of course, said, no, we just didn't want to interfere in this. What I find of interest is that this almost buried the topic. That is, her book may have failings and may be argued, but the topic itself was essential. And of course, what she would really have been doing was bringing some of the thought of Lipinski and others into Polish historiography, and it didn't take, interestingly enough, in that case, because of that debate on that book.
I just have one. Just one more question.
Yeah, sure. Could you please introduce yourself?
Huh?
Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, Taras Hunchak. Yes. And you have mentioned that about this question of the political identity and ethnic identity. Among them, I find, for example, Stanisław Orykowski, who refers to himself as a Roxolanin. And I have a question about that. Now, he was a student of Martin Luther, as you well know, and then he wrote about the natural rights of man. The question is, did he have any impact? He wrote in, let's say, in 1543 and later on. Did he have any impact on the political and intellectual development in any fashion? Because I'm not aware. I know what he did, but I wonder what